So what can we take away from this rather sad story? Well, perhaps three things. First, remember what matters most. A lot of today saw David struggling between his relationship with his son and his duties as king. Now, like I told the children, it's unrealistic to think that we are going to choose our family every time. But when it comes to choosing your family versus choosing your job, just remember that your family, in the end, is probably going to have a bigger impact on your life in the long run. At one of my previous churches, I heard a story about a politician who attended that church who got himself into a little bit of a scandal controversy when his son got arrested. But rather than distance himself from his son like David did this morning in the story, when asked by news people about it, he said this: "Look, I am both a politician and a father, but today it's more important that I be a father." Remember what matters most. Second, don't let anger or division or conflict in your family fester and linger. Don't have lifelong enemies with people, because life is too short for that. Don't think like David that I'm just going to put this off and maybe it'll get better over time. Deal with the conflict and division in your life. Don't let it fester and grow. Ask God for the strength to forgive that person or that thing that your heart might find reconciliation. And when reconciliation isn't possible, because that takes two people, right? Remember that forgiveness always is. And forgiveness is really between you and God. And in the end, forgiveness has always been about your heart, not the person you're forgiving. And finally, remember that sin has a way of working backwards and robbing us of whatever joy it first gave us. So that anytime we are tempted to just enjoy our sin a little bit, remember that joy is fleeting. It's false. It's a shadow. It's fake. It's a lie. It's not real. And in the end, it will leave you in hurt and pain. Hear the warnings of David and Amnon. When you find yourself on sin's doorstep, peering in, take time to consider the consequences of the weight of your actions, so that you do not find yourself like David or like Amnon did. So sin has a way of robbing our joy as time goes on. But if that's the case, and here's where I might be able to squeeze just a little bit of gospel into this message between David and Absolom. If that's the case, the opposite is true as well. God's redemption also works backwards to redeem the pain and the brokenness and the hurt and the loss in our life. So if sin works backwards to rob our joy, Christ's grace also works backwards to redeem it, to reclaim it. As we go on into eternity, we will see our lives a little bit differently than we do today. Frederick Buckner, you don't know, so in his commentary towards the end about this story of David and Absalom, wrote this, and I think it kind of wraps this up good. If David could have done the boys dying for him, he would have done it. If he could have paid the price for the boys' betrayal of him, he would have paid it. If he could have given his own life to make his boy alive again, he would have given it. But even a king can't do things like that. As later history was to prove, that would take a God. Let's pray.